Hey, Brian, I mean, it's easy to blame it on the back line, but I'm wondering, is there some lack of communication or some breakdown between the back line and the players in front of them there, causing other teams to find space between the two units?
Well, that's always an interesting question, Moz, because look, you can look at it one of two ways. You can look at it as, are the forwards, because we have guys that like to press. Christian likes to press, Nico likes to press. Are they pressing at the wrong moments? Do we not build pressure, as a group? Staying compact is vital. So it's either the guys in front are pressing at the wrong moments, or maybe it's the back line not stepping up when those guys start to press, and you shorten the distance there between the forwards pressing and the defenders there. Tonight, I thought it was a little bit of both. I thought certainly there were moments where they had some possession, but again, up until the goal that they scored, I was willing to concede a little bit of that. I didn't think they were punishing us too much other than the set pieces. So I thought we would be able to survive until the second half. And then, we were going to change formations anyway and see what we could get out of the game.
Next question, we'll go to Nico Moreno. Nico, go ahead.
Thanks, Alex. Coach, it seemed like for the first, maybe 50, 60 minutes, the team really struggled to get out of their own third. Offensively, it seemed uncharacteristic. There was no cohesiveness coming out of the back. I was wondering what was it that perhaps was planned that didn't get quite executed, perhaps, in this one?
Well, again, you can plan for things. You can show them film. You can, go through tactics on the field. When the game starts to happen, players need to understand, yes, what the tactics are, but then if your opponent does something and you're forced to change during the flow of the game, that has to happen. So credit there to Nashville. I think they did a good job pressing us a little bit higher up the field. I thought when we, brought AB in, that was his first game, so my expectations there were fine. I mean, the kid struggled a little bit, but then he found his footing. Nuhu, and Yaimar are experienced guys in that first half. They could have done a better job helping us get out. Jimmy Madranda and Alex on the wing channels. Do they come shallow? Do they go higher? Some of those decisions. And then, look, Nico and Albert are two of our best possession players. And I put them in that area of the field. So, that's where we would have liked to have them dictate the flow of the game. So what ended up happening is, Nashville applied some good pressure. We were forced to kick the ball long, and then we didn't have any players in that area of the field to pick up any of the second balls or knockdowns. So it was a little disjointed.
Jeremiah O'Shan, go ahead.
Yeah, Brian, in your comments to Casey and Keith, you seem to express some frustration with players not playing up to their potential. I'm just curious if you can speak to that a little bit.
Well, I think if you asked, a lot of those players and asked them a question, do you think that was a good performance by your standard? I would think a lot of those players in there would probably give you an answer no. I think we're better than that. That's my personal belief. I mean, we are not afraid to play on the road. We're not afraid to play out of the back. We're not afraid to advance the ball. We're not afraid to play balls into pockets. We're not afraid to get the ball over the top and stretch teams. So, I just don't think we executed very well today in our, attacking movements until, in the second half when Danny came on. I think he unlocked a bunch of stuff for us, pushing Nico back to his natural position as a 10. I think that helped a little bit. So there were some positive moments.
Go over to Roshan. Roshan, go ahead and unmute your line. Thanks.
Coach, it seemed like your back line was kind of holding as they were serving so many crosses in that first half. I guess how frustrating is it for one long ball over the top to kind of beat you guys?
Well, I mean, you guys saw the play. I mean, Nico gets his pocket picked and, Nuhu is just at the halfway line. I watched the panoramic view. The player was definitely on sides. I don't know what replay you guys have on the TV feed, but he was definitely on sides. So that play happens. We can't lose the ball in that area of the field, and our active defending has to be a little bit better. So that to me is, again, look, if a team comes in and outplays you and scores a great goal or two or whatever, and you end up losing the game, sometimes that happens. That's pro sports. But when you give goals to a good opponent, then you're swimming upstream. Then you've got some challenges that you got to face.
If I can just follow up on that, like you've said that kind of similar sentiment a couple times recently, in that we pride ourselves in not giving up cheap goals. Like what do you tell your team after another one? How do you change that, I guess?
Well, you change it by making sure they understand the overall tactics, where we set up properly in that moment, where the players helping each other. It's kind of repetitive. A lot of coaching sometimes is just reminders. The players all know it. Nico didn't want to lose the ball there. Of course not. Should he have known the guy was behind him? Yes. But certainly the guys behind him could have helped Nico. They could have helped him. So again, that's why I say it's a team sport. They're going to learn from it. They'll watch it themselves. We'll watch it together as a group, and we'll continue to remind them of the, things that it takes to be, a top squad.
Drake Hills from the Tennessean. I think you're still in the room there in Nashville. If you are, go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, Coach, I just wanted to ask you about Hani and what was the game plan for him in that attacking three, and as a 10 who has become basically second striker in Gary's new system. How do you think he's been able to flourish in that system?
Well, he's a good player. I mean, he flourished when they played three center backs. I mean, he finds little spots, little gaps. We didn't plan for anything special. We actually were concerned about Dax and, cutting the head off the snake. Who runs a team? I think Dax is a quality player. He's getting better with age, actually. But look, Hani's a good player. CJ's active. I mean, it's a good partnership. So they did a good job.
All right, we'll come around for any follow-ups. If there are some, I'm seeing a couple of hands still raised, so that's not on purpose. I'm going to buy you a little time to take it down. Maz, I'm seeing your hand first. Go ahead and ask a follow-up if you have one.
Yeah, Brian, I mean, do you have any issue about being goal dangerous in the last few games? Is it ball recognition, players running into space, anything there in terms of being goal dangerous the last few games?
Look, Nuhu's chance clanked off the post. I thought the ball was a little bit behind Will. Normally Will can tuck that away. I think there's other moments where, we don't make good decisions. Again, we didn't want to cross balls from 30 yards out, 25 yards out when Walker Zimmerman's one of the best center backs in the league in the air. So some decisions, some execution, and, again, credit to their goalkeeper making the save, and, they were able to hold on to 1-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maz. Nico, I see your hand still raised. Go for it.
Thank you, Alex. Brian, it really looked like when Danny and Will came in, the team was able to regain possession. They looked more controlled in possession and in transition. Just kind of wanted to get your take on how Danny affected the game as well as Will when you brought him on.
Yeah, Will always works hard. You know what you get with Will. He's anxious to play. He's anxious to get more minutes. So I thought his effort was good. He hasn't played a lot. So is he sharp? Is he sharp in front of goal? I think an in-form Will Bruin will, make that happen. He'll get some more minutes now that Raul is down. So we'll see if we can't get him firing and scoring goals. But then you mentioned Danny, and he played super well in Toronto, and he backed that up with another good performance here. So credit to the kid. I think he's playing with a lot of confidence. So, he'll get rewarded for that.
Thank you, Coach.
Jeremiah, I think you are the last hand I see, so go ahead and close us out.
Yeah, Brian, it's obviously a lot of season left, but I I imagine you don't want to rest on that. What would you describe, or how would you describe the level of urgency right now to sort of get this mini skid turned around?
Well, I mean, we got a couple of the results around the league went our favor tonight. That's one thing. It's going to be a dogfight in the West. Teams are going to knock each other off. There'll be 6-point games. So there is still plenty of season left. But again, what I always come back to, Jeremiah, is this, is if a team comes out and really beats us fair and square, scores good goals and, outworks us or outthinks us, okay, that's one thing. But I hate losing when you give away goals that, in my opinion, are preventable goals. On the road in MLS, you have to be able to keep a clean sheet. It's critical. And tonight we weren't able to do that.
Looks like we have one more from Drake in the room there. So Drake, you close us out, please.
Thanks, Alex. Coach, you talked about the system, and earlier you talked about cutting off the head of the snake. Aside from Dax, what about that system allowed Nashville to capitalize on the turnover? And does Hani fit in that? What role does he play in that system?
Well, that was I think it was Leal that snuck up behind Nico. I mean, that's an individual play that he started, and then the other two guys finished it off. Again, Nashville is a good team. Gary does a good job. They've got some good players, but we'll unfortunately we won't see him again this year, but we'll be ready for him next time.